You are now listening to
Chakras and Shotguns. Welcome to Chakras and Shotguns, the podcast that guides you on a journey of spiritual development and personal preparedness. I'm Jenn, a former lawyer, yoga instructor, and lover of human design.
And I'm Mik, a marketer, Reiki master, and prepper. Thanksgiving is a time of year where we try to reflect on things that we're grateful for. Gratitude is more than just a simple thank you. It's a powerful force that can change the way we think, feel, and experience life.
But before we get into that, we want to tell you about our Black Friday deals. Yes, us too. Mik and I were thinking about how we can show up during the season for our listener community. And so we want to offer some deep discounts on our readings. Mik is an amazing energy healer. He's helped so many people deal with anxiety, stress, grief, physical pain. And he often gets intuitive messages, honestly, that are a little freaky, spooky during his sessions that help provide really powerful insight for people. I love giving tarot card readings to take deep dives into love, money, health, all kinds of relationship dynamics, and looking at, how you can better move forward into new seasons and new opportunities. And I love diving into human design charts. I completely nerd out, and human design really reveals ways in which we can better show up in the world. So all of these readings, don't they sound amazing? They'll be 40% off for our listeners if you use the code THANKS40, thanks40, from now until the end of Cyber Monday, which is on November 27th. So just go to www.chakrasandshotguns.com/readings to book. Oh, and if you're a patron on our Patreon page, the discount is 50%.
Yeah. So if you are not already a patron, feel free to check out our Patreon. The link is in the show description. All right, let's begin as we always do with a breathwork meditation to put us into a mindful place.
Let's get started. Find a comfortable seat. You can always lie down. And for today, we're going to rest our hands face down somewhere on our body. I tend to place mine one on my belly, one on my heart. And just allow that extra weight to ground you into this moment. Take a deep inhale through your nose. Expand your belly. And exhale your breath out through your mouth. Let's do that again together. Inhale through your nose. And sigh that breath back out through your mouth. One more together. Inhale through your nose. And this time, seal your lips closed and exhale that breath back out through your nose. Allow your inhales to match your exhales. And just focus on your breathing. For today's time together, I thought I'd stick with the theme of the episode, gratitude. So in your mind's eye, that space between your eyebrows, I want you to envision something that you're grateful for. It can be a person, an experience, a thing, something intangible like health or your own mental fortitude. And as you visualize that something, allow yourself to feel in your heart, in your body, the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of thankfulness. You can also do this with something that you desire that's not quite here yet. Something that you wish to call in. And express gratitude as if it is in the present. Let's take one more deep inhale together. Sigh that breath out through your mouth. Notice the sensations of your body, of your spirit, of your mood. Start to come back into the room. Let's get into the rest of the show.
Thanks, Jen. That was another great breath work.
Thanks.
So let's get into today's topic. We're diving deep into the world of gratitude journaling, positive psychology, and all of these practices that can really work to transform our lives for the better. So let's get into it.
To kick things off, let's examine what gratitude really means. I feel like we think we know what gratitude means, but you know we love a definition. So let's go.
Let's do it. So gratitude is defined as a positive emotion that occurs when we recognize and appreciate the good things in our lives, whether they're big or small. It's about acknowledging the blessings and expressing thankfulness for them.
This kind of sounds like, I feel like all of the holiday movies are about to start rolling
Yeah.
out. It's giving Hallmark, not Lifetime, Hallmark. It's giving Charlie Brown's Christmas. But there's actually a lot of science that backs up the benefits of practicing gratitude.
Yeah, I actually wanted to point out one study in particular. So there were researchers at UC Berkeley who noted that many previous studies of gratitude were mainly conducted with participants that were already kind of in a positive mind state. And so these researchers at Berkeley wanted to see if gratitude could actually help people who were struggling with their mental health. So what they did was they took 300 adults who were seeking mental health counseling, and they broke them up into 3 groups. All of them received counseling, but one group was asked to write a letter of gratitude to someone. The second group was asked to write about their deepest thoughts around a negative experience that they had. And the third group was asked to write nothing. And what the researchers found was that those who wrote the gratitude letters reported significantly better mental health for 4 to 12 weeks after writing the letters.
Wow. And it feels like it was kind of a one-off exercise, right? But
Yeah.
It had such a long-lasting effect. So we know that expressing gratitude can be great, right? I mean, it's polite, right? Thank you. People will be like, they didn't even say thank you. It's always great to receive gratitude. So how can we best incorporate that practice into our daily lives?
So I'm sure we've mentioned it at some point before on the podcast, but the practice that I really like and one that I have incorporated into kind of my routine is gratitude journaling.
Yeah, gratitude journaling is a really simple practice where you regularly write down things you're grateful for. I feel like there's a ton of products on the market for fancy schmancy gratitude journals, and we've had one in the past. And when you're writing down the things that you're grateful for, it can be super specific, like that beautiful sunset that I saw last Tuesday. I'm actually really grateful that I experienced that. Or it can be as general as having a loving family.
Yeah, I really love doing it. And to your point, at one point I did buy one of the journals. I actually filled it up. And so I just got a regular notebook and started my own little, template, if you will. But I will say, if you were to open my gratitude journal, you would see that I've really been kind of inconsistent. Like there are weeks where I write an entry every day. And then there are some weeks where I may get one, if one at all, that week. So I think for me, I could use some help in being more consistent.
So if you're like Mik and you want to be more consistent, and I do have some thoughts on that I'll say in a minute, the experts do have a few things that you can try. So first, you can set a regular time for gratitude journaling, whether it's in the morning to start your day on a positive note or in the evening to reflect on the day's blessings. It's also really helpful to be specific in your entries and to make it a sensory experience by describing what you see, hear, feel, smell, taste. Because I be thankful for meals, okay? And you want to call in those senses when you're recalling the things that you're grateful for. Lastly, you want to keep your journal accessible so you're more likely to stick with it.
Yeah, that's probably the big one for me. I definitely have to keep my journal visible and accessible. The way my brain works, if it's out of sight, it's out of mind. My nightstand gets crowded. I have books and crystals. I have my dream journal. I got my shaman tools. And so I will often lose track of that gratitude journal because it's buried under other stuff.
Yeah. So Mik bought me the same gratitude journal and I was really doing it for a while. And, he's talking about how he might have gone weeks and been inconsistent. I never finished mine. Frankly, I'm not quite certain where it is. Might have gotten lost in the move. It's somewhere around here. But a human design aside is that there are things in our chart, both of our charts, that point to we are not really supposed to be routine people. Like we are just not built that way. And I personally found that to be a relief in a world that's like, wake up earlier, go to bed later, work out every day, don't sleep. And I'm like, baby, you gonna get it when you get it. I'm sorry. So that's my experience with gratitude journaling. I practice inconsistently. Something very close to what we did at the beginning of the episode with the meditation. So I take the time to be grateful for things that are currently in my present, like my kids, my husband, my roof over our head, and then also calling in the things that I want. And I speak of them in the present, that I'm already grateful for those things as well. So like, look, I want a new car. I got my eye on the Rivian. If you know, you know. And I am very grateful for, that black Rivian inside peanut butter. And I feel myself in it. And I'm so grateful that I have this electric SUV that's amazing. So yeah.
I love it. I also love that you threw in that human design element because it definitely can help you even understand the best things you can do to, incorporate it into your gratitude practice. So I know we said it at the beginning of the show, but, take advantage of that Black Friday deal and book you a human design chart reading with Jenn. Anyway, let's jump into positive psychology. What is it and how can we benefit from it?
Yeah, positive psychology is all about studying the strengths and virtues that enable individuals and communities to thrive. It focuses on what makes life worth living and emphasizes topics like happiness, gratitude, resilience, and positive emotions. It provides evidence-based tools and interventions that can enhance our mental and emotional well-being, promoting a more fulfilling and meaningful life.
That's a lot. It sounds dope though. And I feel like we should definitely know more about that. So tell us, what are some examples of positive psychology findings and some of these evidence-based tools that you referred to?
There's actually a website that you can go to learn all the nitty-gritty details because we're here for a good time, not a long time.
Not you sending me to Google though.
Look it up. But you can go check out positivepsychology.com. High level, though, there are studies and research that show conclusions like people overestimate the impact of money on their happiness by quite a lot. And, fair. When you ain't got no money, a little money will make you a little happier, There's also a conclusion that happiness is contagious. So people with happy friends and happy spouses are happier in the future.
Okay.
That sounds like a word.
Right.
They're happier in the future.
So it's kind of like ways in which we can like approach life with a more positive outlook, would you say?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. And in terms of tools, gratitude journaling is actually one of the tools in positive psychology. But there's also things like mindful meditation, which, I mean, we all about that. Engaging in acts of kindness and reframing negative thoughts. Those are all tools that can help us be happier and more appreciative. One tool that I'm currently trying to implement, and I didn't get it from like positivepsychology.com. I got it from TikTok. Y'all know I'm picking stuff up from TikTok all the time. But especially like being an entrepreneur, I feel like a lot of the language around that, or with any like risk taking or making a change, getting a new job or moving somewhere, right? A lot of times people will be like, well, what's the worst that can happen? And it's like, well, you think through what the worst thing that can happen and you realize it's still worth it to make that change. But you're always thinking about what's the worst that can happen instead of thinking what's the best that can happen, right? And like if I change this job, I could get promoted, or it could put me on a trajectory to really be doing the things that I want to do. Like the absolute best thing that could happen could be amazing. Let me pursue that. And I feel like instead of thinking of like all of the ways that we could fail, thinking more about all of the ways that we could succeed.
Yeah. Some
people might be like, that's too optimistic. But those people ain't happy. What Kanye say? Hater. Well,
hater men marry hater women and have hater kids.
So, I think the one thing to be cognizant of, and I think positive psychology is like dope, right? That's why we're talking about it on the episode. I think if you're going to go to an extreme, you would find yourself in the land of toxic positivity, which we have talked about on this episode. And we'll put a link in the show notes on that. You don't want to go too far where you're shutting down your feelings and you're just like not feeling your feelings, right? Where you're just like, I'm just going to keep going and everything's great and I'm just going to be in denial and it's not going to catch up to me later, because it totally will.
Yeah. Now you just reminded me of that mantra, like, show me how good it can be. Kind of want to write that down and put it on the wall somewhere, All right. Well, we talked through some positive psychology, some gratitude journaling. Hopefully that gives folks some ammunition to think about this Thanksgiving. And as you think about what you want for 2024 to look like.
All right. Well, that's the show. Friendly reminder to check out our Black Friday deals on readings by using code THANKS40 on chakrasandshotguns.com.
And finally, if you're loving the show, please subscribe and give us 5 stars wherever you listen.
Namaste.